Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm exhausted, Dax. 'Cause it's my job is getting fun again. Over there is Dax Holt. My name is Adam Glyn, two entertainment news journalists. I guess we're passing the 2-decade mark, so now we're working towards the 3-decade mark.
God, don't say that. It sounds so old.
It's true though. Like we're passing that mark where it's like, all right, we've been doing this for 20 years. Now it's gonna be 30. Now we're moving towards 30 years. So it's we are two journalists focusing primarily on entertainment news, but occasionally dabbles into real politics. But it's very weird, actually. Yeah,
we almost never dabble in real politics. What are you talking about?
No,
that never goes well.
95 for you. 95% of my stuff is entertainment. 5% dabbles into real news.
You said politics. Real news is one thing. Politics is another thing.
I do politicians, but like actually, we'll get into one of my videos that actually is entertainment, but also became a very big news story.
Okay.
Overall. So what you're probably asking? Why are you tired? People are out again. You know, people are walking outside. The weather in New York is nice. So, you know, my job as a street journalist, some may call me a paparazzi, my job stinks during the winter, dude. It's like, because people don't want to talk. I'm cold. No one wants to talk to me when I have snot frozen to my face. And they paid thousands of dollars to get their hair and their makeup done, and they don't want to get ruined trying to speak to me in the wind. Now it's nicer out, so people are more willing to talk to me. So last week was busy for me, Dax. I got Oprah.
Yes.
Which I know you love Oprah. You're always jealous of my relationship with Oprah.
It bothers me so much, but we're going to keep going.
Do you know when I see Oprah now, I say this. It sounds like
you're gonna rub it in, aren't you? You motherfucker.
Yeah, I am gonna rub it in for a second. I see her so often that I'm not like, oh my God, it's Oprah. I'm like, oh hey hey babe, like what's going? Like it's like that, and I know that sounds like such a dick thing.
You're just saying it to piss me off. I know what you're doing. Because you know that I would love to interview Oprah more than anything, and it drives me bonkers that she walks out of a restaurant. She's like, hey, Adam. I'm like, shut up, Oprah. Stop saying hi to him. Come say hi to me.
Dax, I will say this. I'm not saying this because I know her. I'm not saying this to kiss her ass at all. But she is so nice. Like, I was outside of this establishment that she was at, and she was very slow, but not in a bad way. Like when people came up, she was very like calm. Like, hey, Oprah, can I get a photo?
Yeah, do you want me to just play the video? Can I just play?
Sure. You can play this.
I'll play the video real fast.
Good to see you. First, how are you? Good to see you. Tina Knowles, congratulations on that book.
Oh, isn't that great?
Good pick, because that's a really fun pick, and I heard the interview, and I think it's going to be an exciting read. I think she's had an interesting life, and obviously, yeah, look at that. I mean, that's a cool book. Very cool.
Cool?
Listen, being a part of it, obviously, last week was a huge thing. How was it in your shoes watching that? The space, the show?
Well, this is what I think. I came back, and since I've been back, this is what I've done. It opened me up to the possibilities of what space can mean. And since I've came back, since I've come back, every single night I watch the International Space Station and where they are on the planet. Did you know that the International Space Station gets another day every 90 minutes?
I did not know that.
So it goes around the planet did you know this? No. It goes around the planet 16 times a day.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, and I knew nothing about that, had no interest in it until that experience last week. So it opened me up to the possibility of...
Can I just say that I love that she was not going to even fall for your question about the space flight. Oprah is so smart that she's like, no. I will give him an answer, but it won't be about Katy Perry. It won't be about Gail going to space. I'm going to blab on about something else because I'm not going to give him a soundbite because it was just crucified after they went to space. She's so smart.
Very smart. I wasn't going to get into the negativity about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And when I asked the question, first off, I brought up the book club thing because obviously she's in New York promoting her new book the new book for her book club, which is Tina Knowles' book. And I didn't want her to just ask a question and then use my time just to talk about Tina Knowles because I just know that just wouldn't really go anywhere for me. My question was to open her up to really hear what it was like for her experience watching her friend in this shuttle, to like the fear in her head, like my friend might not come out alive.
Yeah.
But the question I really wanted to know was like what I was trying to, my follow-up question wasn't about the hate that Gail King got for being in the spaceship, wasn't for the hate that all the so and so called, the if you want to call them astronauts got in that term. It was more like, now that after you saw it and experienced it, are you more interested in possibly going into space? Is that something are you curious about that? And that was the question I was trying to lead to. But when I asked the question about space for her, I saw her eyes move away from me and look at her like person with her.
Yeah, to be
and
like, how do I maneuver out of this one?
Well, her friend, her colleague with her, just gave her like the nod, like don't get into it. And I that's when I said I'm sorry, because I was like, oh, I didn't want to ask anything you didn't want to get into. Like I thought it was like a very. I hope she knows I wouldn't ask her anything kind of crazy or to put her in a bad position, because I know it is a controversial subject. That's why I apologize. Like, oh, I didn't mean to kind of catch you guys off guard about that.
Do you think Oprah really is watching the live stream of the space station every day, or do you think that this was just a wiggle room tactic? Because it's
a little bit of both.
Okay. All right. Let me keep going. Let me keep going with the interview.
Okay.
What space exploration and all of that means. And listen, so I go every night to the AFAR TV site on YouTube.
AFAR TV, okay.
AFAR TV, and they have the ISS satellite going around our world. And when you look at the comments, other people are on that website saying the same thing that I said. I actually saw comments from somebody saying, if I hadn't watched the Blue Origin go up in space, I wouldn't have had this algorithm send me to this site.
I agree.
I think it just opened me up to greater possibilities.
Wait, you interviewed everyone. Who's the one person you always wanted to but never could get? And why couldn't you get to them?
I actually wanted the Pope.
The
Pope.
And did you couldn't
and
get to it?
I didn't. You know who got him? Nora O'Donnell.
That's pretty.
That's right.
Good to see you. Thank you as always.
I gotta say, great question, Adam. Great question. And Oprah, great answer. She knows it's new. She knows it's newsworthy. She knows that it's giving you just a little something that I think outlets would want, or that people would want to watch, because it's timely right now with his passing last week. And so, smart answer.
Good answer. Good question. She's the best. I talked to her off camera real quick, because I wanted to apologize to her, because the last time I saw her was when she was going into a restaurant with Gail, and I didn't know it was Gail's surprise party. Mm-hmm. So she didn't talk to me then, and she sort of ignored me kind of rudely.
Yeah.
But then I never talked to her since, because I felt so bad. So I went up and said, hey, Oprah, I just want to apologize. I had no idea that you guys were heading into Gail's surprise party. She's like, I know I did, and I know I was rude to you, and I apologize. I was like, no, I'm sorry. Someone nudged me from the back, and that's why I wasn't waiting for you guys on exits. I was sort of like letting you guys have your moment. Like, I didn't want to ruin any of the party for all the celebrities there. I wanted you guys to have a great time. She's like, no, thank you. I was like, no, you're the best.
You messed everything up, Adam.
I could have ruined the surprise party. But I will say this. Oprah moved very slow. For every person that went up to her and, hey, can I get a photo with you? She you know how sometimes celebrities try to make it like very quick, like, all right, let's take it real quick. And everyone like fudges around with the camera. She like stays for a second so they can like stay calm and get their photo with. And because she kind of stays calm, the people on the street kind of stay calm because it's Oprah. Even her security stays calm. So because her demeanor is so nice and warm and kind of calm, everything kind of stays very chill and laid back. So got Oprah, very cool.
That's
Another
awesome.
person I ran into last week.
Wait, hold on. Let me read a review real fast, just so I can get it out of the way, because I want to get a shout out into someone real fast before we get too deep into this show. All right, we love to read reviews. It means the world to us. So I'm going to go ahead and read one real fast off of. This comes from Apple Podcasts. It says 5 stars. I just wanted you to help y'all water down that 2-star review. I actually thought it was pretty low key brilliant that y'all did just to get a guy on to explain his point of view. Honestly, it really wasn't what I expected, and that's what made it interesting. Whether you agree or not, this is the first time I've ever rated or reviewed a podcast, but felt compelled. Thanks for the weekly Raw rundowns. They are part of my Friday gym routine. Hell yeah. And that comes from, it looks like Sonia Begonia 11. gmail. Thank you, Sonia Begonia. Appreciate it. And
Thank
thank you for
you,
watering
Sonia
down our
Begonia.
lame-ass 2-star review because someone was upset that we had someone on that had a different political stance than them. And it's not like we were agreeing with him. We just literally had him on because he was interesting. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. So, all right, back to who else I ran into. I ran into like some rappers last week, which one again? I ran into Jada Kiss and I ran into Fat Joe, and I've got to see those guys a lot over the years, and it's funny because it seems like yo, and they're like yo, but anyway, it's just funny to like run into people because I grew up with these guys and I've gotten to like know them, like they know me, and it's like if I ran into the supermarket, I would have to like stop and talk to them, like that's just kind of the relationship I got with them. Not like I'll ever run into them in a supermarket. But I got Ricky Gervais.
Okay.
And I love Ricky Gervais. Nice guy, interesting guy, fun guy, cool guy. Everything about him, he's the guy. He's the man, Ricky Gervais. He always talks. He's nice. And so that's a good one. So I got Ricky Gervais.
Do you want me to play this one?
Sure, yeah.
All right, I got it right here.
There he is.
How did you get here?
I went to Dunkin' Donuts and I saw it. How are you, sir?
Good,
to
thanks.
see you, man. Good to see you. I'm excited for the show at the Garden.
Great.
This is insane.
No,
I'm sorry, Radio City Music Hall.
Radio City.
I'm sorry. I'm excited for this. I have 2 sold-out shows. Are you going to see more of you touring coming up? I think you're doing LA too.
Yeah, I'm doing the Hollywood Bowl again, and all over Europe. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's sold out. You can't ask for more, can you?
Do you get nervous at all? I mean, you obviously been doing this for so long, but do you still get nervous before you do shows?
I don't get nervous. No, I don't get nervous. I get grumpy. I just go, oh, I've got to go on stage again. I'm too old. I want to do a sit-down tour next.
You're going to do like the Cosby, just sit on a stool?
Yeah. I'm not going to do the Cosby, no. Let's make that clear. I'm not going to do the Cosby.
Yeah. What is your creative writing what do you do to
Well, with stand-up it's very different because with stand-up you let them choose I did 80 sort of warm-up shows where you just go out and talk. You got notes and you try things out, and sooner it hones it. They pick the show for it. It's very different to writing for TV or film where you do it all yourself and you put it out there and you can't change it. Whereas this, it evolves. So it lands on a good hour usually if you do enough warm-ups, and you're any good.
Do you warm up? Or you do like small things at all?
Yeah.
Are you one of those guys?
Yeah, I did 80 sort of in like 200, 300, 400 seaters before I put the arenas on tour, yeah.
Speaking of TV, writing TV, The Office are saying they're going to do a reboot for that in America.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to do with that, or do you just...
Well, they've got to pay me, yeah.
So you just paid on that?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a pretty good gig,
Yeah,
but no creative or...
No, it's all theirs, apart from the check, which is mine.
Would you ever do an award show again, or are you like that? You've done
Maybe.
it.
I feel it's a big one to beat. I did 5, and I think the last
Which they're
one was
incredible.
The best.
Yeah, they were
Thank
so
you.
good. Yeah.
And the last one was my favourite, so probably leave it there. You never know. Anything can happen, but again, I feel I'm too old for that as well. Just to put on a tux is exhausting at my age.
With the cancel culture, obviously for comics, it's been tough the last few years. But do you think it's coming around lately?
Yeah, we're through it. You gotta ride the waves. It's happened. It happens every 10 years. Just ride it. Just do your thing. Come out the other side. It's cool. Most people don't care about it. They go there to laugh. So you do it for them. You don't worry about what's happening. It's just noise.
Yeah. All right. Good seeing you, brother.
Man.
Seriously, thank you so much. Good seeing you.
I love his accent. He's such a good actor.
I'm so jealous. My accent's the most unattractive accent. Those accents is just... There's nothing attractive about my accent.
It's so good.
Yeah, but that's Ricky Gervais. People love him. He's a nice guy.
You know who I saw you got out that is on top of the headlines right now is Billy McFarland, the Fyre Fest guy. He has been all over the news. How did that conversation go?
So that's what I was saying. Sometimes my stuff, I do cover real news. And yes, it is a little bit of entertainment news because I know it was on Netflix and we've made entertainment about this. But Billy McFarland, the fraud creator, or if you want to even call him the creator of the Fyre Festival, the huge festival that never happened, I got him on the streets. And, he made a lot of news last week because he basically threw in the towel saying, I can no longer run this Fyre Festival, and he's trying to sell.
We got to back up because he was bringing back Fyre Fest 2. So after the big debacle and him having to go behind bars, the whole thing, he came back and said, I'm bringing back Fyre Fest. I'm going to do it bigger. I'm going to do it better. There's going to be Fyre Fest 2. Then news broke this last week that he was throwing in the towel. Is that pretty much to sum it
Correct.
up?
Yeah.
Okay.
He basically said that he had an agreement with another country. I think it was in Mexico with a resort there, and then they just said that there was no conversation. And he's like, I have all the proof, and he basically feels that the festival just can never happen with his name attached to it. He's just such a anchor to any of these things that nobody wants to be in business with him. His name attached to it, just nothing could work as far as him in a festival with his name attached to it. And
Okay.
he feels he's taken responsible for not working.
I'm going to play the video.
There he is, Billy McFarland. How are you, sir? Good to see you, my friend.
How's it going?
How you doing? I saw the news.
Yes.
Fyre Fest is for sale.
Yes.
How did that come about? And what does that mean, the Fyre Fest is for sale exactly?
Sure. So I'm sure you guys saw the news where we've been working in Mexico since September to make Fyre Festival 2 happen. We do this big announcement. We do a press conference with the government of Playa del Carmen. And then 4 days after the press conference, they publicly said they've never heard of Fyre. So after that, we were, looking for new locations and trying to figure out the best option for the brand. We have a great Caribbean country that reached out to us, but I'm just so scared that the same thing happens again, where we announce Fyre there. The New York Times calls them all day long, and they're like, "Who's Billy? We never heard of him." So I think it was like the long and hard realization that Fyre is way bigger than me, and I'm holding Fyre back. So if I'm not in charge and I pass the reins off to somebody else, I think the brand can go and flourish. And unfortunately, I'm holding it back at this point.
Well, so you think you are holding it back? Is it because your name's attached to it?
I think my name is attached to it, and the combination of Fyre and Billy just creates such a massive media wave right now that it just scares a lot of people off. And privately, they're very supportive. They're giving us everything we need to make Fyre Festival 2 happen. And then once it goes public, people just get scared.
Yeah.
So I think that if a bigger company who has the infrastructure to handle this media wave can run with Fyre Festival, the vision could be executed. And I want Fyre to succeed more than I want to succeed. So we got to do what's best for the brand.
Well, and let me last. Do you think? So you think that it didn't succeed because was it you? What did you learn from this experience from the first one?
I think once the tidal wave gets so big, people get scared. And ultimately, my job is to bear all of that punishment. So I need to be the punching bag right now and take the shots. And then in the background, find the right home for Fyre and understand that by removing me as the anchor of the brand, it can hopefully, flourish.
I mean, he does have a point there that his name is synonymous with Fyre brand, and that brand is tainted with his name attached to it. It was a failure. It was a debacle. A media circus that you can't reinvent it. You've already this is why when restaurants start to fail, it could be the same ownership and they put new paint on the outside and call it something different, and it gets popular again because it's something new and different, and people aren't associating with the old ownership, the old people that were running it.
Yeah. Here's my feeling. I put this video on my social media, and the video is taken off. People keep going at him a lot, calling him a fraud. My personal feeling is Billy is a guy. He's an entrepreneur who got a little ahead of himself. When everything started to go really bad, he wasn't in the right state to think clearly, and was like, "We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out." And then he kept getting more and more over his head, and then basically just went to crap. And it just when your world is crumbling, he just wasn't thinking clear. Unfortunately, it screwed up for a lot of people. I don't think he went there with the intention of screwing people over. I just think he got in way over his head. And yeah, that's really it. As far as Fyre Fest 2, I think he wanted to prove that he is an entrepreneur and he's right, and he could actually figure this out. And unfortunately, again, he had a lot of setbacks. I don't think his intention was to hurt anybody. I don't think it was to rip people off. From what he said, anybody who bought tickets was refunded. I do think he should really start to look for a real job at this point. And I do think there's maybe some sort of, how do I say this, learning. He's got to get his stuff together. I think he should look for a real job, not be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, let's get on to some more fun stuff.
So I got that. Oh, know who I saw last week, Dax?
Who?
I saw Blake Lively and
Yeah,
Ryan
you
Reynolds.
did.
I went to the Time 100 event, which I didn't get into. We don't have to get to that whole thing. I was outside it. Terrible, terrible event, may I add. Love that Megyn Kelly spoke up and said that Blake Lively should not be here because, yeah, she should not be there. She was
But
not
not only
one
said
of the
that,
most
but
influential people of the year.
and if you didn't see this clip, Megyn Kelly was there walking the red carpet on her way in, and she said Blake Lively should not be here. She should not be on the list. That takes some balls, man, to have to to say that and know that you're going to go in there and you could probably cross paths with her. I was pretty impressed with with her saying that. It's one
Yeah.
thing to think; it's another thing to say it on camera.
No, definitely some guts to say that, especially that knowing you cross paths. But also, she's smart enough to know what Megan's good at bringing in clicks and making clickbait. But I also do think she does stand for that. She does believe that, and she's not afraid to kind of speak her mind because listen, she's her own boss now, so she has no one to kind of answer back to. It's like, listen, I'm making money on my own. Like, I don't need anybody. Like, I don't even need to be there. I'll always be okay. She got nominated or put on this list and she showed up.
Okay, so you saw Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds this weekend at the Time 100. Walk me through what it was like seeing them come in. How was the crowd reaction? Were people booing them? Give me the whole rundown.
I think people were, including yourself, they didn't think she was going to show up to this event. Me personally, I think she had to show up to this event. I think I knew in the back of my head, I was like, Blake can't hide out forever. She has to start showing face more and more, especially for something like this, because here you are nominated influential, one of the most influential people
let me
of the
pause
year.
you. Nominated or because you paid for it, now you have to show up to the event?
We don't know if she paid for it. In fact, I'm going to try to get Megyn Kelly this week, and I want to ask Megyn Kelly how you get on the list. Can you pay for that? But we don't know if she paid for it.
I
Do I
think
personally
there's
think she
any other
campaigned
way.
for it? Do I personally think her team campaigned for it and said, "Hey, we want to be on this list, and we'll show up to the event if you do it, and we know we'll make news"? Absolutely, because again, nobody reads Time Magazine, so Time Magazine needs to put something out there to actually sell an issue. If they even sell 7 issues, I'll be happy.
It doesn't make any sense for her to have made this issue at all. All she's been is drama all year. How does that rank you in influential? I don't know. Anyway, get back to you saw them out there.
It doesn't make sense, and nobody reads Time Magazine anyway. I started asking people, random people who are on the magazine cover, as they're walking into the event. It's like, do you have a Time Magazine subscription? Because I want to see when's the last time they actually read a Time Magazine. I don't think you get a subscription to the magazine if you're on the list. But there was a main door, a front door, and that's where I was waiting for her to see that she would come in the front door. And there's fans there, and the fans were ready for her to come. And I guess these were Baldoni fans. They were throwing stink bombs on the ground, waiting for her to come because they thought, that was their way of,
so people were actually throwing stink bombs at Blake Lively outside the Time 100?
They were not throwing it at her, but outside the front entrance, they were throwing them on the ground in anticipation of her walking in. However, she went in through the side door.
What did it smell like? Does it smell like crap
rotten eggs?
Rotten eggs?
Rotten eggs, yeah. More not crap, rotten eggs. There's a clear difference between crap and rotten eggs.
Do you know? Could you tell if she walked through the scent? Did
no,
look grossed out?
She went in through the side door. So she didn't go through the main entrance. She went through a small side door, which I actually saw her go in because they tried a few celebrities, her, Serena Williams, and Simone Biles. They snuck them in through a small side door to avoid, I guess, like a carpet or so, to see less people. However, when she did go in the side door, they really give it up. Like, hi, how are you? They're so excited to sign autographs and take photos. And it's so different from when you see her on the street. But she's at the point in her career where she's really working it. Her and Ryan are in a little bit of career redo and have to really get that public perception as nice people.
Are you I don't know about you. I'm a little annoyed with the PDA tour that Blake and Ryan have been on though lately. It feels like they're overdoing it a little bit. Obviously, they walk the Time 100 red carpet. They're all lovey-dovey, kissing, hugging on that. They do the Wrexham game. There's a bunch of shots of them all over each other. They also did another Simple Favor red carpet where they're kissing. They're all over each other. I feel like they're pushing it on us. Like, we're happy, we're good. Like, look at us. Nothing's affecting us out there. When in reality, I bet it's quite the opposite. But I think that people are kind of seeing through this going, this is not real. They don't feel like this is real at all.
Well, their rep, when they did walk, their rep is like right on top of them as they do it, like especially
really?
Blake, like right next to her. In case someone in the crowd says something Baldoni, they're pulling her arm and bringing her right in. Who knows? But it's, yeah, they're definitely in trying to win the public
Perception.
public perception. Right now,
And listen,
it's still difficult.
if this was them, 7 months ago, I think this would have been good because they were kind of that Hollywood it couple. Everyone was talking about them. But right now, it gives you this kind of yuck feeling of like, oh, are they just trying too hard to win us all back over, knowing what's gone down? That's what I think is different now that wasn't there 7 months ago.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree. And what was it? Tell me about this thing I saw in the news, Dax, this week with Travis Kelce. He unfollowed Ryan on social media.
Yeah, so Travis Kelce unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on IG, which is kind of a big deal considering, obviously, we all know Taylor and Blake are very good friends. They've been friends for a very long time. And so it seemed natural that Travis Kelce would follow Ryan Reynolds. They've been buddies. They hang out outside of, the normal spotlight. We know that they've spent a lot of time at each other's homes. Well, for Travis Kelce then go and unfollow Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan was still following Travis. I don't think it was an accident. I think that this drama has probably boiled up so much so that Taylor is like, I want nothing to do with this. Travis, you can be done following them. Let's just kind of continue to distance ourselves. Taylor, on the other hand, she doesn't follow anyone, so it doesn't really matter who there's no one to unfollow on her side. But I think it's one more public display of we are separating ourselves from the Blake Lively drama. Maybe we'll find out at some point that he comes forward and says, oh no, it was some glitch in the system, kind of like Justin Bieber and Haley. Remember when all that went down and Haley was like, no, just there was a glitch when Justin deactivated his account. Now I'm following him again. It could be something like that, but I could see there being a sly undertone that they wanted to make sure people saw it and did the unfollowing.
Yeah, I would say that they are definitely Taylor wants nothing to do with this. Travis, why not just keep following though, and just to like not even make things worse? Keep following and just like not talk to him ever again. Just unless you could still follow him and block his story so he doesn't come on your feed.
Isn't it a good way though to get press? Like you don't have to say a word, you just unfollow, and it also shows separation. It shows separation between Ryan and Blake and Taylor and Travis without Taylor having to do anything, without them having to say anything. It's just like, look we're going to put this out there, and now everyone will know that we are not latching onto them any longer.
Yeah. I mean, Blake really made herself it made that relationship between Blake and Taylor very awkward from what she said.
And trust me,
during
Taylor knows how important her image is. I hate to say it, but her reputation is. And putting a little distance there is not a bad thing right now.
Not a bad thing, but to unfollow Ryan, and maybe Travis doesn't like Ryan Reynolds on social media. Maybe he's like, dude, this guy sucks on social media. I don't want to follow him anymore.
I will say Ryan Reynolds is good on social media.
Is he?
Yeah, he's actually really funny, but I think he's got ghostwriters that help him come up with the content because he's really actually funny on social. But listen, at the end of the day, I'm not saying this is going to last forever between Blake and Taylor. I think that this is a momentary glitch, just like normal people can have ups and downs in relationships or friendships, and they can make their way back together. It's a good time to let the dust settle before you start showing up at Taylor's house or showing up at Blake's house,
Real quick, another great person, celebrity to follow on social media, Jonas. Jonas is awesome on TikTok. He is so good. Derek Hough is very good, but Jonas is great. And Jonas's new song, fire, Dax. I'm telling you, I was blasting it this morning. His new song is dope. So
You're
good.
hilarious.
It's so bad. Yeah, but I don't think their relationship ever goes back to what it was. I think this is such a serious thing that
Yeah,
Taylor cannot really accept.
I don't know. I think yes, it's a serious thing, but it wasn't directly aimed at Taylor. So at the end of the day, you could be like, I didn't want to get wrapped into your drama. It's not like Blake hooked up with Travis Kelce. You know what I'm saying? It's not like to that level. It's your peripheral. You want distance, but I could see that friendship mending once everything goes back to normal.
Well, Blake is still getting work in Hollywood. I looked up is she currently working? Does she have anything going on? She is set to star in a Oscar-winning filmmaker, Catherine Bigelow, is actually doing a movie called Fractured Silence that Blake is actually at this point is going to star in this movie about a woman unraveling the mystery behind a series of disturbing events in her small town.
I'd be
And then
curious to know how long has that been in the works? Was that all rolling before the Justin Baldoni stuff? I would also be curious to know what Catherine Bigelow has to say. Is she going? Clearly, she's got a big enough name in Hollywood that Blake wouldn't be able to muscle her way into any creative control. But what does that look like on sets moving forward? Does Blake kind of take a back seat and go, I'm just going to be an actress? Has she already signed on to have any kind of producing roles? Very curious how that comes out.
This was announced in January, right after New Year's. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's still in the works, but is it moving forward enough at a good speed, or is it slowing down just because of the excitement? Maybe producers are like, hey, maybe it's not we spend the money right now on this project, because again, when it comes to making films, you need investors, and maybe investors are like, I don't really want to put money into her at this moment. She also has another movie in the works working with a director, I don't know the person named Cornell Muzrasco, who's known for the project Pieces of Woman. Then I was wondering, is Justin Baldoni's career over? But Justin is like a very big producer. He's got this Wayfair production company that does a lot of films. They did the documentary about Will Ferrell and the transgender
like his friend.
Yeah, which was did you see that documentary?
I did not see it. I saw a lot of promo for it, but I didn't watch it myself.
It was excellent. It was a really good documentary, and I was surprised how much I enjoyed it. It was like very like educational. I was like, wow, this is pretty good. But it says that his production company is doing a movie called The Senior, a sports drama directed by Rod Lurie, and the film released. Well, no, this movie came out. It's came out now, so it's came out last. Sorry,
it came out last month, right?
Yeah, it came out last month. But the other thing is, he is doing a live action adaptation to Pac-Man. Which, yeah,
is that actually still happening? I remember that being brought up, and it was kind of like it was uncertain if it was moving forward. I wouldn't be like, if I were them, I would greenlight this because people are interested in what he's doing at this moment.
Yeah.
And if that is something that he's attaching his name to, I think people will go to watch it just to support him. I know that he was also still tied into it ends with a sequel, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Personally. I think that unfortunately that one got ruined. It was a good movie, and it could have had a good sequel if the stars hadn't collided so hard on it.
Crazy news story this week. I don't know why it's so crazy. People are obsessed with, and this is a story that we normally don't really get into because it's more sports, but it's become into more pop culture now. Is former Patriots quarterback, new University of North Carolina football coach Bill Belichick. He used to coach Tom Brady. He was one great Super Bowl winning coach. He and his girlfriend Jordan Hudson have made tons of news this week. They did an interview with CBS where it's just a very awkward and uncomfortable interview. But Bill Belichick in his defense is always awkward and uncomfortable.
Remind me, though, because it's their ages that really gets people. How old is Bill? How old is Jordan? I cannot remember.
He's in his 70s. She's like 24. I'm guessing offhand he's 72 and she's 24.
It is.
That's what I'm guessing offhand.
It is so weird to watch, and I feel bad saying
Why
it,
is
but
it weird for you at this point?
I don't know. I think it's just because he looks like a little old man, and she looks like a college girl. It's just weird to see together. But again, if they're happy, they're happy. I think the photos that really made a lot of news, did you see when he was laying on his back at the beach and holding her up on his legs? And it
Yeah.
looks like something where you're like, Grandpa, hey, put me up on your legs and we're going to take a photo. It's just funny. But again, who am I to say that this is not a great relationship for them?
By the way,
them.
he's 73 and she's 24. He's
There you
73 and
go.
she's 20. He's more than double her age. So it is dude. I think people just like to kind of go at him a little bit because he's
Yeah.
just such a weird guy that it's more fun to keep messing with him and keep like nudging him, and in some ways bully him a little bit. Like the guy clearly doesn't like to do too many interviews, and I don't know why he sort of has to do interviews now because he is the coach of University of North Carolina, their football program, and he's got to get kids to come to their program, so he has to sort of put
What's
on a
funny?
little bit.
That, you know how we always talk about the double standards between men and women in Hollywood and like who gets shit on more for the things they do. I will say in this situation, Bill Belichick and his young girlfriend get a lot more heat than, let's say, Madonna and her young boyfriends or Cher and her young boyfriend. I feel like people accept it more when it's the older woman, the cougar, getting the younger men. The older man, like Bill Belichick, people find kind of gross and yucky.
Because
Why is that?
Because he is. The guy is not a nice guy. I've met him a few times. I wouldn't say met him. I've seen him. Try to go up to him. The guy is very unlikable in person. Now, again, I didn't play for him as a football. He was never my football coach, and he's never been to a party with him. I don't have friends with him, so he's not like I'm not hanging out with him. When I've been around him, he's a very uncomfortable guy. When I saw him at the Super Bowl, she wanted to walk the red carpet.
Okay.
And he did not. So he like stood to the side and just watched, very disgruntled. Like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, she wants to walk the red carpet. And she loved getting her photo taken. I mean, this girl, you ever talk to someone and you can see in their eyes they're a little bit unique?
Starstruck? Do you mean
No,
they enjoy the attention, that kind of thing?
No, I would say more, I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it, off.
Okay. So unique, you mean off.
From my experience, when I saw her, I was like, oh, she's off a little bit. I mean, you have to be a little bit off based on what she's doing. I mean, she is almost running she wears the pants in this relationship. He's doing an interview with CBS. CBS anchor says, so do you want to tell us how you met? And then she jumps in out of nowhere from the sideline. We're not getting into that. I mean, you're not his publicist.
But the thing is, we already
she
know.
is.
The funny thing is, we know how they met. Did they not meet on a plane ride from like on the way to Boston or something? And they sat there and chatted about logic and then decided that they were going to start dating?
Yeah, but I don't know how it goes from just meeting on a plane and him writing like a nice note in her book.
But I would say the plane is the best spot that you could meet someone. You're both sitting in first class. You got the two seats right next to each other. You start chatting about life. You've got a good, let's say, 2 hours to just undivided attention, chat with someone. I think that's a perfect spot. I bet a lot of people meet on planes.
You know what's so funny, dude? Years ago, I was on a plane. I was on a plane to Chicago. And I was sitting there, and I was, my buddy worked for United, so I was flying. We used to get to fly for like dirt cheap if we flew standby. And we're on our way to Chicago. I was sitting there, and the flight attendant comes up to me and goes, hey, at the time I was single. And she goes, are you single? Says, hey, would you want to, I have a girl for you on the plane. Would you love to meet her?
I have a girl for you on the plane. That sounds so weird.
I was really caught off guard. I was like, oh yeah, sure. And I was like, so she goes, let me see. Hold on one second. She goes back to the flight attendant left, comes back. It's like, hey, come. I'm going to give you guys a seat in the back. It's open. I'm like, okay. And the flight attendants like made us a date in the back of a plane, like got us a drink, put this, like there was an empty row. We sat next to each other. Like, is this really going on right now? Like the flight attendants were like getting a kick out of this. Like, gave us a drink. They even took You know what they did? They came up like, do you mind if we take a photo of you and show you to the girl? I was like, okay. They took a photo of me. I think I have the photo. Brought it back to the girl. The girl said she approved, I guess, because I would have been really embarrassed if she didn't. Then they put us in the back of the plane and we just made love. No, I'm kidding.
No.
We just talked and they gave us a free drink to see what happened. I don't think anything happened. I think we were both like, what is going on? Like, I thought we were on a show.
Okay.
Anyway,
I've got a good plane story for you myself. So I was flying first class, and I'm only saying first class, not to as a humble brag, but as to say that's sometimes you meet some really interesting folks that are in first class that want to chat it up. And I was flying, and this lady, she starts asking me all these questions. A very pretty lady, very young. She was just, and again, when you see someone super young in first class, and you're also like, what do you do? I want to know more about what you do. And she goes, oh, I'm a burlesque dancer. And I'm like, oh, okay. And like, I'm trying to be nice and, and she's like, yeah, so I do private parties. I go to, and I'm like, are you a hooker? Like, what are you talking about? So she goes, I go to private parties up in the Hollywood Hills, and I bring like a big champagne glass, and I dance, and I do the topless. And then she proceeds to pull out her phone and start showing me videos. And now I'm getting super uncomfortable because I'm like, got my wedding ring on, and I'm like, I feel like I'm like trying to be catfished here. Like, hey, look at these videos of me dancing at parties topless. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, it looks really cool. And she just continued to like show me videos. And then she was like, oh, can I follow you on Instagram? I'm like, sure. The whole thing was so weird. I got off the plane. I called my wife. I'm like, hey, so some lady just showed me her titties all through the plane flight. I just need to let you know that right now. This is what she does for a living. But I don't want to be I don't want to be judged for this moment. It was very strange. I felt very uncomfortable. And the whole time there's people sitting behind us. So all I'm picturing is her with her phone up in between the two seats. And everyone else is getting to see everything that was going on too. It was the weirdest plane flight, Adam. Very weird.
Have you been but here's the thing, being from California, and I know you don't fly from LAX too often, probably ever. Have you been on a plane with a celebrity?
Yeah, I've been on planes with celebrities.
Like, who have you been on a plane with?
We did the the LA to New York, and it was the whole cast of This Is Us.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I ended up getting to meet, like, after I got off the plane, I was standing next to the baggage, and I got to meet Justin and Chrissy Metz, and
they're very nice.
Yeah, they're super nice folk. Who else have I've seen so many celebs on planes, but normally I'm not always in first class. That other one was a different situation.
Yeah, you know what's so funny, dude? I've been on a plane with a few celebrities, but the problem is like I always want to race off the plane and get to them by the time but I'm always in the back of the plane.
Yeah, you can't get off fast enough.
So by the time I get off the plane, they're already in their car. Or, like I'm like, dude, like that was so quick. Come on, guys, hurry up, get off the plane. I want to see this person.
That's funny.
I was on a plane recently with like Cedric the Entertainer, but I didn't even say anything to him. But he was boarding the plane with me. Actually, I remember my brother's bachelor party. Okay. My brother's bachelor party. We were going to Vegas. And I actually booked the wrong flight. I booked a later flight. I just realized as I got there. So I was like, hey guys, you guys go to the bar at the airport. I'm going to go to the front desk and see if I can get on that plane. And when I was there, I saw Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Oh, that's a big one.
Martin. And I said to Chris, like, dude, I'm on the plane. My brother and his friends were like very big Coldplay fans. I said, hey, we're going to Vegas from Roseback. Can you come up to me and act like you know us and like play? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And like he was super cool about it, so nice. And then all of a sudden, like they came back from the bar. We were like one of the last people to get on the plane. And Chris was one of the last people to get on the plane. I think that was his move to get on once everybody is there rather than like sit in his seat and everyone has to walk by Chris Martin. His move is to get on last so he doesn't see anybody. Well, we were getting on the plane with him. And I'm like, oh, Chris, what's up, man? And this is before I was kind of got into this. And Chris is like, hey, man, what's up, man? And I was like, it's my brother. And my brother got to like meet Chris Martin, all these guys.
That's cool.
And he was the coolest dude. And I don't know. He was actually super nice. I have to say, Chris Martin. Every time I've met Chris Martin, very nice guy.
I was going to tell you, my wife got on a plane with Matthew Perry. They were going to Australia at the same time, and this
20 hours with Matthew Perry on a plane.
That was pretty cool. So she's always told me about that one because she's a huge Friends fan. So
yeah,
she was just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I'm on the same flight as Matthew Perry."
The crazy part is, let's just say, for example, you're on a flight with Matthew Perry, and God forbid that plane goes down. No one's going to care about you. All they're going to talk about is Matthew Perry.
100%. If that
Sucks.
plane goes down, you're getting well. We've talked about that before. Like, if you get 3 celebs on a flight, who gets the headline? It's so horrible, but it's the reality of it.
Yeah. Real quick, because we've been going long. Beyonce is on tour right now. She just did her first show. I saw the set list from this concert, Dax. I think she's putting on a show. I mean, she
She's
did a lot, dude. She did so
She
many
always puts on a
songs. It's
hell of a
insane.
show, though. She puts on a hell of
She
a show.
put on a show.
I was kind of bitter that I didn't even realize that she was coming to SoFi, because that to me is just down the street, essentially. I could go to SoFi pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I did not notice. I saw a bunch of the videos. I saw Blue Ivy out there dancing around. Blue Ivy's getting to be a phenomenal dancer, by the way. Phenomenal.
Yeah, she's working it, huh?
She has been on stage performing with her mom quite a bit, but I feel like she really commands the spotlight. And I don't know if it's Beyonce teaching her the dance moves or if it's the choreographer teaching Blue Ivy the dance moves. Whatever it is, she has that star power that her mom has. And I'm like watching, like, dang, this girl is literally got the Beyonce move. She's getting people interested. So I think this is going to go really well for her. But she also brought out Rumi. She brought out her youngest daughter. And this is a big deal. I've never seen Rumi out on stage. I rarely have ever seen Rumi in general. I remember the photos of the twins when they were super young, and Beyonce did like the photo shoot with them, but you never see them. And I'm wondering, did Beyonce bring out Rumi because of what Kanye West said the other day? How he said, like, basically that there's something wrong with the children and that's why you don't ever see them. So Beyonce said, fuck you, Kanye. Watch me bring out my daughter in front of thousands of people and show you that she is just fine. She's healthy. She is all good. Was that a middle finger to Kanye?
I don't think they're thinking much more into that. I don't know.
I think you'd be surprised. A lot of people started to question, oh, is there something wrong? Is that why the Carters are not bringing them out? Is that why we see so much of Blue Ivy, but we don't see the twins? And I think it was her subtle way of like, let me bring out my beautiful daughter out here on stage, show off my family, and say, screw you, Kanye, keep your mouth closed. I don't know. I think there might be something behind that. Who knows?
I think they want to stay as far away from that as possible. The one thing I'm curious about is what Blue does once she turns 18. Does she go to college? Does she really pursue a career in music or dancing? I'm just curious what she gets into. I will say, even though this is the Cowboy Carter tour, she really stuck to, like, no, this is the cowboy genre of this is the album that I'm doing.
Mhm.
She's not going to. She wasn't doing the older songs or the XOs. I mean, she did Texas Hold'em. She did all. I mean, she did so many songs. It's great. It's a great show.
It's a great show. How does Blue Ivy, though? How could she go to college and just blend in? It's impossible. She could not go to college and be a normal student that just answers questions. Like, there would be so much pressure. Everyone's constantly watching you. You cannot party to the extent that like other people are partying. I mean, she'll never be able to have a drunk college night where she just gets plastered and winds up sleeping on the floor. She'll never have that experience, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, but you're right. It does suck, but she will have her own unique experience of college. Barron Trump is in college right now. You know, like, what's her name from Harry Potter went to college. What's her
Emma.
name? Emma what's her last name?
Watson.
Emma Watson went to college after she did Harry Potter, one of the biggest franchises of all time. So she can have a college experience. Is it to what you pictured, going to frat parties every Thursday night? And no, but it's going to be a unique college experience.
Yeah.
I think Blue Ivy could walk down the street and not everyone would stop Blue Ivy.
I think a lot of people would. She looks like so much like her parents these days. She is like that combination of Jay-Z and Beyonce, where you look at her, if she's next to Jay-Z, you're like, oh my God, she looks like Jay-Z. If she's next to Beyonce, oh my God, she looks like Beyonce. I think that she stands out a lot.
You know what's so weird, Dax? I almost think, and maybe it's just my generation, let's say Lourdes Leon, Madonna's daughter, was going to college, and Beyonce's daughter, Blue, was going to college. Who would people recognize more?
Blue Ivy.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm saying at the height, like when Lourdes was going to college, I just feel
Yeah,
like
but
she was more
that's
photographed. Than
I think with all these kids, you could throw Surrey Cruz into the mix too. I mean, it's like these kids were some of the most famous children on the planet. I don't know how they have normal, like they can't have the normal life like the other college kids would have. They're so recognizable. Everyone knows them. Everyone wants to get to know them so that you can show up to Thanksgiving with them and get to meet their parents.
Okay. By the way, did you see the preview for the new Rock movie?
Mm-mm. Does it look good?
It looks good. I will say the trailer does look good. As a guy, as The Rock, who his movies, it's much more of a darker movie for him. He
Okay.
usually does more of PG movies. With that said, The Rock,
Yeah.
Dax, he looks like an action figure. He's a
He is an action
beast,
figure,
dude.
bro.
He is an action figure, but he's there's like his body is just so ripped. It's almost plastic looking. It's
Is
just
he
it's
is he
insane.
on something?
You said it, not me. The big
I'm
question, if you go on
I'm
fitness things,
asking. I'm just asking. I don't know enough
there's
about it.
no way a guy at his age looks like that and not being on something. And if you go on social media now, you start to follow like fitness accounts, something on your algorithm will pop up, especially for guys, will be the big thing for guys is natty or not. And a lot of guys are open about being
Wait,
not natty.
what's
And I
that
think
mean?
there is
Oh,
not
natural.
natural, not natural. And I think in Hollywood where there is a testosterone steroid epidemic that is not spoken about. And I think
Mhm.
it's really interesting now the worlds have changed a little bit. You know, a lot of celebrities, females, are coming out speaking about plastic surgery they've gotten and received, and they just want to come forward about it. And men, I think a lot of men are getting a lot of work done that nobody wants to speak about. I actually saw an interview. Josh, what's his name? The one who was with Fergie.
Oh, Josh Duhamel.
Josh Duhamel is working with a testosterone company now, a TRT, a testosterone therapy company now. I guess he's an investor and partnering with them. He's talking about how he is taking testosterone and how much he loves it. And I actually respect that a lot because, yes, he's invested in the company, but he's like, dude, I did it and I loved it. And there's so many celebrities in Hollywood that are doing it and they don't speak about it. And there's
Yeah.
no way The Rock just eats bison every day and wakes up at 4 in the morning, starts working out, and looks like that. I'm sorry, you have to be taking something. And I don't judge. I just want to know
I just want
out
to
of
know so
curiosity.
I can do it too. Like I think about that
It,
a lot with the Ozempic craze. I mean, we know that so many people in Hollywood were taking Ozempic to lose the weight. Well, cool. What are other people taking to gain the weight in regards to muscle mass? What are you taking? Because I'm curious.
yeah, again, I don't judge. I think it's sort of cool that you're
I
doing
judge you
something.
for not telling me what you're doing more than I would judge you for telling me what you're doing.
I would just like to know, and I'm sure you're taking it safely, and I don't think you want to promote to people to do things that aren't safe and to see a doctor before you do anything. But if you go to a Planet Fitness in Secaucus, you know, there's someone selling dirty needles out there. So why not educate people on exactly what you're taking, but also suggest like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Fortunate for me, I can afford to have doctors going over my diet as far as my levels to do it safely. But yeah, I mean, The Rock is just insane right now. I got it.
One day it'll become normal for men to talk about plastic surgery or what they're doing to help with their looks. It just we're not there yet as a society. I feel like it's not
No,
cool for men to get plastic surgery. You know, it's not as accepted, but it'll happen. We'll get there.
it's so funny, and I think it's true. I just on my feed, someone just sent me now. Joe Manganiello's in New York, and where was photographed? It looks like the Plaza Hotel, based on the photographer that shot him. Was like, yeah, this is Joe Manganiello's doing setup shots right now with his new girlfriend. So it looks it's funny what he's doing. The way the photos are taken, the way they're facing him. Yeah, he's definitely doing setup shots. I don't. Can I confirm that? No, because I'm just. But if I had to put money on it, I put all my cards in that he's doing setup shots now. Joe Manganiello, Sofia Vergara's ex. Thank you guys for watching the Hollywood Raw podcast on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram. We are on it all. Check out our private Facebook group, Off the Record. Fun group of people there. We all BS with each other. And follow me at Adam Glyn, follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.